Hi, this is Chavi Rappaport, and it's Torah Wisdom to Go. How are you? Hope your week is started off great and will continue that way. Do you remember as a kid the expression, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never harm me? I always wondered about that. Is that really true? Absolutely not. Don't you recall situations where you can even just feel the sting of some harsh words said so insensitively, or sometimes maybe we may have said something and then like, oops, I wish I didn't say that. Words are so powerful. And the Torah designates two parshiot, Tazria and this week Metzora, to discuss the leper, the person who slanders, who badmouths, who walks around prattling, talks about other people, and destroys relationships in that way very often. Two whole segments. What happens to that person? How does that person achieve purification? Like, why? Just like grow a thick skin and brush it off. Big deal. But the Torah says it is a big deal. The entire purpose of the Torah, lo nitna Torah ella la'asot shalom ba'olam. The whole purpose of Torah is to make peace in the world, bring people together, peace within ourselves and harmony. And the person who prattles and slanders is doing everything and anything but that. But bear in mind, it comes first as a whisper, as a nudge. The leprosy would appear on the house, the outside, the external, sort of like a subtle tap on the back. Watch what you're saying. Be more sensitive. If that didn't make its mark, then it went a little bit closer onto the clothing of the person. And then finally, a ranting voice, a loud voice, wake up, stop this behavior, and it was actually on the flesh of the person. And the leper was totally segregated socially, outside of all the camps, total isolation. And also spiritually, was not allowed to engage in any kind of spiritual ritual, being left very much alone to contemplate. And the whole procedure for the purification is so interesting. The person needs to bring two fowls, two birds, and a bundle comprised of a cedar tree, hyssop, and red wool. Of course, there's so much symbolism in all of this. Why birds? It's springtime. Thank God spring is finally here. Almost. At least in Canada, right? And the birds are prattling. You hear chirp, 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 flying around and chirping everywhere. And the person who just talks, who just senselessly, carelessly badmouths is very much like a bird that just chirps, chirps, and flies around and chirps everywhere. And then the cedar tree, which is a very tall, stiff tree, is symbolic of, there's a certain haughtiness, a certain arrogance that we have in talking about somebody else. It's like, I'm so much better. I would never do that. I would never say that. So that's a reminder, don't be so haughty. The red thread, when you talk about somebody, when it gets back to them, that brings humiliation, redness to their face. And maybe that redness should be felt a little bit by the perpetrator. Wow, I caused that person such embarrassment. And the hyssop is a lowly, lowly tree. When do we stay away from slander? When we have a sense of humility, when we have a sense of, maybe I misunderstood the situation, maybe I'm not in that person's shoes, Maybe I don't know the extent of their challenge. Talking about somebody else is always putting ourselves in the place of being a judge. How could I ever judge? So let's bear in mind, Metzora can be broken up into Motzi Shem Ra. Why the leprosy? Why the leper? Because she, so to speak, found a bad name, created a bad name and vibe around this person. So let's pay attention. Let's choose words that heal, not words that hurt. And that'll be our takeaway. Let's think carefully before words come out of our mouth, because we're called medaber. That's our unique quality above every other aspect of creation that we can speak. Let us speak uplifting words and never downgrade anyone.